The Afcon quarterfinals are upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and what a thrilling ride we have had. My oh my. Now, before the start of the Afcon, BBC and Opta released a prediction of the 2023 Afcon champions, which ranked the top 16 teams in order of their statistical strength. We did a short about that, which you can find on the channel. Anyways, of the top 10 ranked teams from that prediction, only 3 made the quarterfinals. And that's Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and Mali. In fact, only one in the top 5, which is Ivory Coast, survived to the last 8. Amazingly, all the teams ranked 11 to 14 reached the quarterfinals, and at least one of them will be in the semi-finals. To be precise, 2 teams ranked in the bottom 10 will be in the last 4, because Cabo Verde, who were the bottom side in that prediction, take on South Africa in the quarterfinals, while DRC and Guinea, who are listed 11th and 14th, also clash. Now, predictions are just that, but we can all agree that Opta was not far from what most of us expected before the tournament. So, what happened to the favorites? And what does it all mean, aside from the fact, of course, that this has been one of the most memorable, if not the most memorable Afcon ever? So why have the big guns faltered? Is this Afcon just one of those tournaments where all the big teams sort of conspired fall short? Is it an aberration that will be corrected at future Afcon tournaments, or are there genuine reasons behind this trend? Reasons like the gap between the traditional giants and traditional minnows is actually reducing. We know that teams like Angola, Cabo Verde, and Mauritania have made significant strides over the last 10 years, so we shouldn't be surprised that they're starting to hold their own. On the other hand, you could actually argue that the giants have weakened. I mean, look at the quality of the likes of Egypt, Ghana, and Cameroon. Can anyone say they were impressed with what they saw from those teams? Cameroon played 4 times, and their only victory was the 3-2 win over Gambia, but at least they had one. Ghana had none, Egypt had none. The record champions played 4 and drew 4. So there's a trend here of big names that were actually poor. And I didn't even mention Algeria and Tunisia, who were eliminated at the group stages. But the case for Senegal and Morocco is different. Both sides look good in the group stages. Senegal were exceptional as they won all 3 of their games. Morocco were almost as impressive, getting 2 wins and 1 draw. So you really fancied them to make it past the round of 16. They were pre-tournament favorites, and when you watched them in the group phase, they looked convincing. Until, of course, their defeats in the round of 16 to Ivory Coast and South Africa. To be frank, against Ivory Coast, Senegal were not good enough in the key moments. Sadio Mane missed a glorious chance in the second half that would have put Senegal up 2-0 and ended the contest. And I'm also convinced Eduardo Mendy could have avoided the penalty foul against Pepe. If I'm Mendy, I'm daring Pepe to beat me, rather than bail him out with an ill-timed foul and not giving Pepe the benefit of doubt by lunging at that ball the way Mendy did. And I also didn't understand why Senegal were content to sit back and protect their early lead instead of opening up and taking on Ivory Coast mano a mano. Senegal were at their best when they played on the front foot, when they were asking all the questions. So why change it against a team that was so low on confidence and even lower on goal scoring potential, like Ivory Coast? I think Senegal should have counted on their quality to overwhelm Ivory Coast in a toe-to-toe contest, but they chose to cede control of the midfield, and that helped Ivory Coast grow in confidence and go on to win the game. Anyway, Pepe and Ivory Coast deserve all the credit for dumping the defending champions out of the tournament, and they will feel anything is possible from now on. South Africa will be just as hopeful, and I think Bafana Bafana's title credentials look as convincing as anyone's. The 2-0 win over Morocco in the round of 16 was a huge statement of intent from South Africa. Morocco were without Ziyech and Boufal for the contest, and they even missed an 83rd-minute penalty. But you can't take anything away from South Africa. They fully deserve their victory. Tebogo Mokoene's performance was splendid, and I get the sense the midfield general, as the rest of Bafana Bafana, is hitting peak form at just the right time. South Africa started the campaign with a 2-0 loss to Mali, but that early taste of diversity looks like it has helped Hugo Broos' side build some thick skin. South Africa looked really good at times against Morocco, and you have to admit Bafana Bafana is benefiting from the fact that the bulk of their squad is taken from the Mamelodi Sundowns. Those Mamelodi players are proven winners, and they would have been confident of beating Morocco, and now that they did, it will erase any doubts they had before of winning the tournament. And at this point, every quarterfinalist will feel they have a shot at winning this thing. So what awaits us in the quarterfinals? More surprises, drama, twists and turns. One of the things that stands out for me is the battle of the coaches. There are 4 African coaches left in the tournament. As of the last 8, Ivory Coast's Emas Faye, Mali's Eric Shelley, Cape Verde's Bobista, and Guinea's Kabad Yawara. Nigeria, Burkina Faso, DRC, and South Africa have foreign managers. So it's half and half. But does it really matter whether African teams have African or foreign coaches? Well, I guess it depends. Some will argue that what counts is getting the person who can do the job, regardless of whether they're African or not. The other view is that African coaches should be given priority by African teams. So there's always going to be a special focus on the performance of coaches at the Afcon, where African managers have traditionally had limited influence. You will remember that all 5 of Africa's representatives at the 2020 World Cup in Qatar had African coaches, and some thought, well, this is the turning point. African coaches are now going to dominate African coaching jobs. Now, of the 24 teams at Afcon 2023, 11 had foreign managers, 13 had African managers. So there's definitely been a shift in favor of African coaches, but football is about results. And if we end up with a scenario where the foreign coaches dominate the last round of Afcon 2023, the temptation to question African coaches will be high. That's just the way it goes. The stakes are higher for African coaches because they have more to prove. So there goes another battle line in the fight for Afcon glory.